Okay, good afternoon and welcome to Google Listings. Can your customers find you? This class is being sponsored by Mindy Hansen with Alpha Pixel Reach. And I'm gonna just turn it over to Mindy and let her take it away.
Hello, thank you. Good to see you all. One of these days we'll get to do this in person again, but for the time being, it's fun to at least see some active live faces on the other end of my computer screen. So if you wouldn't mind each telling me just quickly, what your business is so that I can make sure I cover anything that would be applicable to your direct business. What we're going to be talking about today is Google My Business listings and how to make sure that people are finding you as quickly and easily as possible, and hopefully finding you before any competitive businesses out there. So Amanda, can you tell me a little bit about what your business or offerings are? Oh, you're muted.
I'm a freelancer.
Okay. And what do you do?
I do writing and editing services.
Perfect. Okay. And Eveline, how do you pronounce? Is it Eveline?
I go by Evie.
Evie. Okay. How do you, what's your business?
I'm a certified legal nurse consultant, so I work with attorneys in interpreting the electronic medical record, and I work from coast to coast. So I have no particular area. Obviously, I cater towards searching lawyers within my area, but I currently have some in Oklahoma. I have some in Nevada. Yeah. So.
Okay. Michaela, do you want to tell them how you're involved in this?
Yeah, sure. Hi, everyone. I'm Michaela. I just started interning for Mindy at Alpha Pixel Reach within the last week or so. So I'm just here to learn some things too. So I'll just be here, but nice to meet everybody.
It's convenient that I'm teaching this class right now, because it means Michaela can get this and not have to do one-on-one training with me, which she probably appreciates. So a couple things. I have a, let's see, Amira, yep, I can share my screen. I have a super short PowerPoint presentation that I will throw up. I want you guys to know, anytime you have a question, don't hesitate to stop me. If it's something that I'm still going to cover, I'll tell you, but if I say something that doesn't make sense or you want additional information or clarification, just let me know right away. Since it's a small group, we can do that. So Google is, I like to ask people if they're hiding in plain sight. Just because you have a website or social media or a blog does not necessarily mean people are going to find you. If Google doesn't find you on their own, which usually they will eventually, but not always, it can take a long time for them to do it on their own. So you really have to take a couple steps other than just sticking a website on the internet. So I ask people to ask themselves if they're hiding in plain sight. There's other people out there in all of the industries you guys represent that are looking for the same business you are. So it's important to really have a strong presence. And one of the things we try to help people do is create what's called low friction contact. And basically what that means is you want to make it easy for somebody to find you. If they see your website or a social media listing or a blog, but there's no contact information, you don't want them to have to go digging and trying to find who you are and how to get a hold of you. And claiming your Google My Business listing is an excellent way to make Google find you more easily, appear in more searches, and help you with low friction contact. So a couple things it can do. It can help you show up on Google Maps if that's applicable. It can make your search information show up on the right-hand bar during searches, and I'll show you what that means in a minute. It will almost immediately improve your SEO or search engine optimization ranking. So you'll rank higher if you've claimed your Google My Business. You can inform prospects and current clients, and you can improve your conversion rates. And that improving your conversion rates is largely providing information and that low friction contact. So what I'm going to do, and you guys, I will send you this presentation afterwards if you'd like. I'm actually going to walk you through how you would claim a business so that you can see that. But claiming your business often involves having a postcard mailed in the US Postal Service, mailed to you from Google to verify that you really are who you are and where you are. And they do that so that your competition or people with less than high ethical standards won't claim your business and start posting on that. They have just made it available that you can receive that magical 4 or 5 digit code by text message sometimes. Not all businesses qualify. They're saying they're going to roll it out to everybody, but currently only some businesses can do that. And as far as I can tell, there is no rhyme or reason which businesses they're allowing to do that and which ones they're making wait for the postcard in the mail. So instead of going through all of this, I'm actually going to pull up a Google page and show you how we would go about doing this. So the first thing you have to have is a Google login. Evie, do you have a Google login?
Yes.
Sorry, every time I say Google, my phone is trying to talk to me. So let me turn it off real quickly. It keeps asking me what I want to search for. Amanda, do you have a Google login? Do you know?
Yes, yes.
Okay, good. So you would go to Google and log in, and up in this upper right-hand corner where these squares are, you will see My Business. And if you click on that, it will pull up, and for me, it's going to pull up a bunch, but it will pull up this screen. And let's just pretend this lower stuff isn't here because that's some of the businesses we manage. So you would hit add a location. And what this is going to do is let you type in any business name. Let's see, I'm trying to think of one we're getting ready to do for a client. Give me a second. Let's look at Blizzard Mountain Pinball. So this is saying this has already been claimed, which means my client did what I asked her to, which is fantastic. And it's waiting for the 5-digit code to be entered. So when you enter your business name, it will say, okay, we think that we see you here. Make sure the mailing address is correct, make sure the phone number is correct, and then it'll say, we'll send you a postcard. When you receive that postcard, you go back to this screen and you enter the postcard right here, the 5-digit code right here. And then it will pop up this next screen, and it looks like this. This is one of our offices. We actually have an office in Juneau, Alaska, but it just recently opened, so we basically don't have anything on it yet. So I'm going to actually walk through populating this because Google doesn't want you to just claim your business. They want you to populate it with information that potential clients and current clients can actually have benefit from.
Can I ask a question?
Absolutely.
What if you have more than one business?
You can claim multiple.
Okay.
You just have to go through the process for each one.
Okay.
Yep. And that's why when you look, when I first opened it up, I had a whole bunch of businesses. That's because we've claimed a bunch for clients. So, so yes, you can absolutely claim multiple, and they'll send you a different postcard for each one. So, and I will tell you from personal experience, those postcards frequently end up stuck in the pages of catalogs or stuck in the grocery store flyers that your mailman leaves you. So if you're expecting one, really check your mail carefully because otherwise you'll never see it. And it's a 3-inch by 5-inch postcard, so it's little. So this is what we have when we first start one. It will populate your address for you because that's where it mailed your postcard. And a few of these things, it will tell you by itself. It will tell you your performance. This is how many people have clicked on your Google My Business listing. But other than that, you basically have a blank slate to really work with and add information that you feel is important for your businesses to know. So the first thing I suggest people do is go to the info section over here on the left. And that allows you to fill in your service area. So Evie, in that case, you can list, the entire United States. You can list whatever areas are appropriate for you. Amanda, if you're doing freelance writing, you probably write for people anywhere in the United States as well, I would guess. So you can list specific areas, or you can get very, very generic. List your hours of operation. And some of these are more important than others. Obviously, make sure your website is correct. If you have an online appointment scheduling service, you can list it right here so people can make appointments right in Google. If you have physical products, if you're selling tennis shoes, you can list those here. And this is going to be applicable to both of you, this services section right here. And this is where you list exactly the types of services you offer. What do you want clients to find you for? You can get a little bit creative, list things that you may not realize, that you may not immediately think of. If you add a bunch of services and then wake up in the middle of the night with another idea of some other way to phrase it, you can add that there. So this is a very dynamic and active listing. It's not the kind of thing where you list it once and you're done forever. Other things that are on this page, you can do Google advertising if you want through this, and it will really walk you through how to. And if you do an advertisement through here, it will give you $100 free ad credit right when you start your account. And that's really valuable to know. And literally all you have to do is hit this Start Now button and it will walk you through setting up Google Ads. That's a whole nother ball of wax. And I'm not going to try and go into that today, but if either of you ever have questions about that, you're welcome to contact me and I can help you walk through it. And if someday you win the lottery and decide to close your business, you can temporarily close your business, permanently close it, or just remove your listing altogether. So once you have your basics in there, the next important place to go is to posts. And I argue that these two things should be flipped, but Google hasn't listened to me on that one yet. So posts are a variety of things. They can be an article. They can be an update. For example, we're now offering service in a new area, or we have, a new announcement of some sort to make. You can add an event. So I listed this class on my Google My Business listing for the Colorado location. So any event that you're going to be at, that you're talking at, that you're attending, that you want to help promote, you can list right here. And it's really basic to do. You can add a photo if you want, your event title, start and end date, and then you can add more information if there's, a description. If you want to add a contact button, you can do that. And then you hit publish and it shows up. So the nice thing about Google in this case is they really walk you through it. They really give you a lot of guidance on what to add and how to make it work for you. So you have your events, you have an offer. If you're offering, a special discount, or, if you hire me to write 2 articles, I'll write a third one at half price or whatever, that you can list here. And it can be 20% off. It can be buy one, get one free. It can be anything like that. And again, it's really going to walk you through what coupon code, what link, if there is one, are there terms and conditions. You hit publish and it goes live and it shows up on your Google My Business listing. This doesn't really apply to either of you, but if you had physical products, if you were selling blue suede shoes, you could list them right here. So these are what we call posts. And they're going to look when you're done, like this one right here. This was when we were offering through a couple of the chambers. They were doing some relaunch to help businesses in the community get going again. So we participated and we just listed this as a special offer that we were doing. Once you've listed something, you can hit share post and post it to your social media channels without having to recreate the whole thing. And that can really be a nice tool because it means you don't have to go in and type everything over again and add your images over again. So that's kind of what the posts are. The insights, and there aren't going to be many of these because like I said, we just opened this office, but this tells you in the last time, whatever time period you pick, we'll say the last quarter, we've had 6 people, 1 person go to our website because they did a query for 6th Street. Well, that's the address for this location, but it doesn't really matter. Digital marketing, 3 people have looked for us based on digital marketing. So this kind of gives you some ideas of some of those services you might want to offer. If you see in here, Reputation Management Colorado, well, that's interesting. If people are looking up reputation management, if that applies to you, but you're not currently listing it as a service, you might want to think about adding it as a service. So this just gives you a little bit of basic analytic information. Google reviews are an interesting animal. Technically, according to Google's terms of service, you cannot mass request reviews. So you can't send out an email or a newsletter or a social media post saying, hey, please give me a Google review. If you do, and an unusual number of people review you, and if you have no reviews and all of a sudden you get 3 one day and 3 the next day and 5 the next day, Google's going to realize you're violating their technical terms of service and they will remove all of those reviews. And technically they can remove your listing. I have seen them remove reviews. I have not seen them remove anybody's listing before, but they can and will do it. So what I advise people to do is if you go back up to this home section, you will see partway down this page something that says share review form. And this review form is a link. You can copy that link and send it to 1 person today who you've done some work for, or 2 people, 1 person today and 1 person in a couple days, and ask them to write reviews for you. As long as it's not a significant change in number, all of a sudden, Google isn't going to be concerned with it. So I would highly recommend finding somebody who you've done business with recently, sending this link to them and asking them to write you a Google review. It literally can be done in 15 seconds. It's not time consuming on their process or on their end. The process is really fast and easy. But don't send it out to your whole email mailing list at one time. And I just went to the wrong place. So that's reviews. Google has certain benchmarks, certain points that they give your business more credibility in their listings. If you can get 10 reviews, Google automatically thinks that you're a more credible and more likely to be a real business. And so they will immediately improve your search engine ranking and your search engine placement. So again, don't do it all overnight, but claim your business, start to get it set up, and every few days send somebody a request to write you a review. And then they'll start showing up here. The other important critical element of reviews is to respond to every single one. And that might seem strange if somebody sends a message and says, Amanda's an incredible writer and she did exactly what I asked and I can't wait to use her again. You think, why on earth do I have to respond to that? But if you respond, again, Google's algorithms see you as an active, engaged business, and that will help your ranking. If you get a negative review, and it happens once in a while to people, if you get a negative review, do not get into an argument on Google reviews with the person. Don't tell them they're lying. Don't say it's not true. I advise people, usually the best thing to do is just respond and say, Joe, I'm very sorry that our service didn't meet your expectations. Please feel free to reach out to me by telephone and we can discuss your concerns, and leave it at that. Because I will tell you, I've seen it go nowhere good by people arguing with a review. I've seen it get very ugly very quickly. So just acknowledge it, apologize publicly, and ask them to contact you by phone or email to discuss their concerns. And the good thing about that is anybody else who might see that review in the future is going to say, wow, that person wasn't happy, but the company really just addressed it and did what they could to publicly at least make it better. So that's a really critical step. And I'll tell you, there have been times when I've wanted on behalf of a client to jump in and say, that's not true, you're not telling the truth, you know, but you really, it doesn't do anybody any good. You can set up messages from Google where people can contact you through Google. Unless you have somebody monitoring this 24 hours a day, I do not recommend doing this. Leave your phone number in your listing, leave your email address in your listing. This is just one more way somebody can get a hold of you. And if you miss it, you're not creating a good first impression. And we have so many channels that people use to get a hold of us already. I don't recommend using this. Photos. Photos are, in my personal opinion, a ridiculous element of Google My Business for most businesses. These are great for if you're selling shoes or if you're, you know, an interior designer. As a writer, photos aren't really going to be what sells your business. But Google feels photos are critical in building your credibility. It's a lot like the reviews. You want 10 reviews. Google, unwritten, they've never acknowledged this, but there's significant research that shows it, wants you to have 100 photos. Okay, it's ridiculous. It makes no sense. But they don't have to be photos of you. They don't have to be photos that are unique to you. And you can use stock photography, as ridiculous as that sounds. So what I recommend is put a couple pictures of you, you know, whether it's, you know, your business headshot, your logo, that type of thing. Put those up. Those are good. But then there are two sites that I highly recommend, and I can actually put them in the chat, maybe. There are two sites. Chat doesn't want to pop up right now, so I'll put them in a minute. One is Unsplash, UNSPLASH.com. And the other one is Pixabay, PIXABAY.com. Those pages, if you type in the search field, your business, your industry, a word that's applicable to you, it will give you hundreds, if not thousands, of stock images that you can download and then upload to your Google My Business listing. It makes no sense. I suspect one of these days they'll realize that it doesn't make a whole lot of sense, and then people are cheating the system by just putting stock photography up. But for the time being, it works. And again, like reviews, you don't want to put them all up at once. Go in and add 3 this week, 2 next week, a couple the week after, and just slowly build up to that 100. Or if you're on a Zoom call, you know, a training, take a quick screenshot and upload it and say something about, you know, proud to be part of this training, always trying to expand my skills and knowledge, and put that in your posts as something so people can see you're doing something, and then put the image in photos also. To add a photo, you literally click on this little plus symbol, and it will bring up your, and I'm just going to stick a photo in here real quickly. So you can see how easy it actually is. So it will upload it and stick it right there. So there's really nothing to it. It's really fast and easy. And you don't have to do anything. And then at any point, and this is kind of interesting, you can see how many people have looked at it. And that doesn't really matter, but if you scroll through and there's one picture that a large number of people have looked at, you might want to consider adding more images like that, because it's obviously something that's of interest to your potential clients. I highly recommend putting a logo in here. If you don't have a logo, you can also put your personal headshot in here. That's another good thing to put there. Your cover, this is just an image that represents kind of your industry. If you have an office building, it can go there. So that's what goes there. Products, again, I'm not going to cover a whole lot today because it doesn't really apply to the businesses you ladies are in. But I'll click on it so you can see. Again, it walks you through exactly how to add products, and you can add pricing, and you can add the description, and you can add a photo, and it will walk you through step by step how to do that. The services. This is where the services information on your homepage comes from, and you can either get to it from the homepage or from, the info page, or from this section. And you can't just type in any service you want. Unfortunately, they limit it a little bit, but you could type in, we'll say telemarketing, and then I'll remove it because that's really not something we do, but so it has looked at the services that we've already listed, and it says, oh, you might want to add telemarketing because that's something people are asking for. So I can either click yes and add that, or I can say, no, I don't really want to do that, but I want to do technology classes. And there it is right there. So it's really fast and simple to add your services, your offerings. The website tool here, I tell people do not use Google to design a website, at least not through this. There are a lot of tools you can use to design your own websites. Do not use this one. I can't tell you how many clients have called us and said, so I used the Google website tool and now my website's a mess. Can I pay you to fix it? And 9 times out of 10, we end up literally having to just start over because it's just not a well-developed tool. Google is great at the search engine. They are not great at website development. And this is users. So if I wanted to add, say, for example, I wanted to give Michaela access to make edits to this, changes to it, I can add her. And this is basically telling Google, yes, when Michaela logs on, she's authorized to make changes and updates to this account. So that's a really handy tool if you have multiple people, if you hire an agency to help you, or if you have a niece or a sister or a friend who wants to give you some guidance, that can be a really good way to give them access without relinquishing ownership of the page, which you never, ever, ever want to do. If you work with an agency, do not give them ownership of any of your material. Give them access, but not ownership. And then this is getting into a little bit deeper, and these are usually for bigger businesses, but manage locations. If you have 4 or 5 offices, you can list them all here. If you have multiple different Google accounts for advertising, you can add them here. So this is kind of getting into the weeds and getting into some of the bigger business tools. But let me show you, since you've seen kind of the step-by-step now, let me open my primary Alpha Pixel business location. And I'm actually going to do this differently. I'm going to go in, I'm going to open what's called an incognito window. Are you all familiar with those? And I switch screens. Okay, so if you're on a PC, you can do Control-Shift-N, and that will open what's called an incognito window. And you can tell your incognito because your toolbar, and I'm going to show you here in just a second. I'm going to screen share so you can see it. There we go. So you do Control-Shift-N, and instead of being the usual look Google has, it says you've gone incognito. And what this is doing is this is showing you your web browser without all the stuff that Google knows about you. So right now, if you're using a regular Google window and you search for your business name, you probably come up pretty high in the Google search results. You come up nice, close to the top, but that's because Google knows that that's a business you're interested in. So in this case, we want to look and see what if somebody else, somebody other than me types in Alpha Pixel Reach, if I can type today. Not the website, we're just going to look for the company name. What is somebody else going to see when they Google me? Well, because it's my company name, they see it right at the top, so that makes me happy. And this on the right-hand side here is my Google My Business listing. And this is really good to kind of look through as an incognito, because this is going to show you what prospects and current clients are going to see about you. So you can see, if I click on this, you can see all the lovely random photos we've uploaded. Some of them are stock photos. Some of them are things that are actually applicable to our business and projects we've worked on. So you can see all the photos. You can go right to my website from here. You can save my business, which is actually really nice, because if somebody's looking for a dentist and they see one there, and then they get distracted, or, oh, I don't know when I want to make an appointment, they can save your business and it'll go to their bookmarks. They can ask a question about your business and you'll be notified, but other people who see it can also reply. They can write a review. They can add a photo. So if they've worked with you, they can add a photo of what they've done with you. So this is basically what it looks like. And then these are other things that people have searched for that might somehow be tied to my industry, or these are actually all clients of mine. But these are things that other people have looked for that might somehow be connected to me. So this is what you're populating with doing the Google My Business. And by populating this, you have the increased search engine optimization. You have low friction contact. So if somebody wants to call me, they can hit this phone button right here and my phone will automatically ring. They can tell where my service area is. We have an office in Denver, we have an office in San Francisco, and we have the office in Juneau, Alaska. And that's kind of, we work all over the US, but this is kind of our primary location. So they can really quickly and easily find you. And almost more important, Google can really quickly and easily find you, and they know more about you. And so they can share your information with a bigger audience. Okay, so I've thrown a ton at you. What questions do you have?
Wow.
I know, fortunately, Amira has all this on video, so you can go back and watch it again.
Which I will definitely have to do.
And I'll tell you, I am more than happy to answer any questions. If you start digging into this and are completely lost, just shoot me an email or give me a call, and I'm more than happy to walk you through it. I have no hesitation doing that at all.
I'll include Mindy's contact info in the post email that I send out with the video link. So easy to get to her.
That'll be great.
I know there's a lot of information. On the plus side, like I said, Google is really good at walking you through it. And if you just kind of go down that bar on the left-hand side, you can really enter it a little bit at a time. You don't have to do it all at once. Spend 10 minutes today and 10 minutes another day. And as you add information, your listing is better and better, but it doesn't all have to be done at once.
So I tried to add another business to my location and I keep getting an error message.
What
It's
error
the-
is it giving you?
Sorry, we are having some issues at the moment. Please try again later.
That sounds like Google's technology gremlins, because you should be able to add one without a problem. So I don't know what that would be, what would cause that. If it continues, shoot me a message and I will look into it for you more.
Okay.
I would say try to maybe clear your history too. clear the cache out? Because it could just be automatically populating.
No, possibly. Okay, I'll try that. Thanks.
And you can also try opening an incognito window and logging in there and trying it from there, because it kind of erases what it already knows.
Okay, thanks.
You're welcome. I know I threw a ton of information. I tend to go through this really quickly, and then I always feel bad that I went so fast.
So
Great
on that,
information.
on that service piece, the services rendered, you said something about not being able to add everything or lots of some things. In the training that we received, there were 13 specific services. There's a few more added now that COVID is on the forefront. But of those 13 services, I should be able to go in and just list those as services provided by, because I cater to both attorneys on both sides.
You should be able to go in and add all of those. You don't have to do them all at once. But you should be able to go in and add all 13 of those without a problem.
And finding expert witnesses, we can function both as an expert witness and as a consult. I prefer to do the consult side, but if they needed an expert witness, that is something that I would have. My training center provides us with a site, if you will.
Certainly.
That allows us to search for those experts.
It might not hurt to add expert witness on there, just because some people who need your services might not know the correct terminology, and the terminology they might be thinking of would be expert witness. So kind of try and think outside of the box of some terminology that people might use to find you that aren't necessarily your exact job title. Does that make sense?
Thanks.
Absolutely. Were there
I have
any other? Oh, go
I have
ahead.
a question, and it's just a really basic question. But so what about businesses that do just by appointment only? And then they, all of the social media platforms, everybody always wants you to list your hours of service. So do you recommend just putting Monday through Friday, 9 to 5 and call it good? Or, I mean, how do you recommend managing that?
Google actually lets you put by appointment only.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that's an option. I always, and this is just kind of my strategy, I put 24 hours a day for all of the businesses I do, because my email is open 24 hours a day. If somebody wants to send me an email at 3 a.m., they're more than welcome to. And that way, and this is kind of a trick, if somebody's doing a search for you, because some people search using Google Maps for businesses near them instead of just doing Google. So if they have the setting set to businesses that are open now, you may not show up if they're looking past your normal business hours.
Right. Well, I wondered that because some businesses will close, like especially service industry, they'll close Sunday, Monday. But yeah, that's a great point of just not, how do you kind of get around that? So good one, good tip.
Yeah, so I list mine as 24 hours a day, and my email is always open. And actually I have clients who, once I've started working with somebody, if they're in a pickle and it's Sunday at 2 in the afternoon and they call me, I'm going to answer. So I kind of am available whenever people need me. And I think most of us in the service industry these days are. If you have a client who's in a jam and they call you at a strange time, you're going to answer.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. Any other questions for Mindy?
One quick question in terms of that contact. If you indicate that you're available 24 hours a day, do you also indicate via email, or because your phone number is also part of your information? What if they contact you by phone and response to that 24 hours a day availability?
I mean, that's something that you have to, if you have, your voicemail is probably open 24 hours a day. You may not answer 24 hours a day, but
Okay.
my strategy is the vast majority of people aren't going to look at Google for my business hours because I'm not a store or a restaurant or, that type of thing. So I want people to know that they can contact me at any time, not just during, standard business hours.
Gotcha. Okay.
Great point.
I tried on incognito and it still didn't work.
That's really strange. Let
That is really
me look. Give me just a second. Let me see if I can see something going on. Give me just a second. I'm sorry. I'm looking to see if there's anything, if anybody in the industry is talking about it. So there is a forum that I'm on that said this morning Google My Business claiming was problematic. So I don't know if there's something still going on. Amanda, give it a couple hours and try it again. And if it's still doing it, shoot me a message or give me a call and I will see what I can figure out for you.
Okay, thanks.
I'm telling you, it's the technology gremlins today. They're everywhere.
Yep.
Is there anything else you guys have?
Probably lots of questions, but I'm not even sure what they are until I go try them.
That's okay. You know how to find me. I will put my name and my direct cell phone number in the chat so you guys have it.
And I'll include it in the post email as well.
I would say, please don't hand out my personal cell phone to everybody you know. But because we're a smaller group, I'll give you my direct line.
Oh, so actually, yeah, because you came to the class, you get her direct line. I'm going to put her business line in the post email.
There you go.
Bonus for you guys who showed up today. So that's awesome.
The,
Thank you. That's very generous, Mindy.
absolutely. I'm glad to be able to help out. I know it can be both simultaneously seem really easy, but also be very overwhelming. So I understand and I'm happy to give you some guidance however I can.
All right, so any last questions? All right, well, let's give her a round of applause. She's awesome. Yay. All right, I'm going to stop the recording. So for those of you who weren't with us, we missed you, but this is great information and be sure to connect with Mindy if you need her services or have any questions. Have a great day.